Hello, guys, and welcome to the first episode of Clone Command, a Star Wars podcast. I'm your host, Elijah, and this is my co-host, Caden. Say hi, Caden.
Hi.
So we created this podcast just so you could get a different take on new Star Wars releases, video games, books, things like that. And we just feel like we would have opinions that would be important in the Star Wars community. So just so you get to know us a little better, we're going to give our favorite Clone Legion and our favorite Star Wars movie. So, Caden, why don't you go first?
Hi, so I am co-host Caden, and my favorite Clone Legion has to be Doom Squad, and my favorite Star Wars movie has to be The Empire Strikes Back.
Ooh, that's a good one. Battle of Hoth right there. So I'm Elijah Huff, and probably my favorite Clone Legion is the Wolf Pack, just because they're awesome, and I love Commander Wolf. And my favorite Star Wars movie, it would have to be The Revenge of the Sith, simply because some awesome duels in that movie and clone troopers, and obviously because of the name of our podcast, that is one of my favorite things.
Clone troopers are very important.
So what you guys can expect is we will most likely release a video once a week, and it'll probably be around maybe 20 to 30 minutes long. We'll normally have a topic, and we'll talk about recent releases, things like that. So for this episode, we actually just watched the first 3 Bad Batch episodes. We will be reviewing them episode by episode. So stick around for that. I do recommend, though, if you don't want spoilers, to not watch or not listen to it, and go out there and watch it. It was definitely a great watch. And we'll be back in a bit. Okay, so episode 1 was called Confined. Okay, what were your thoughts on episode 1?
So I think it was a good episode. It was mostly setting the scene for what's going to happen in this series.
Definitely.
Showing, what Omega's plans were to try and escape, and overall, I think it was a good starting episode to start off the series.
That makes a lot of sense. One thing that kind of irritated me is if you listen to like the Phase 3 troopers voices, they sound weird. Like they don't sound like stormtroopers. Definitely don't sound like clone troopers. I don't know. I honestly like it. It's kind of different from traditional Star Wars, isn't it? It's a bit interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely like kind of, I guess, their own kind of thing that they did to make their stormtroopers stand out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing I noticed is this is not the Omega we had in season 1 or even season 2. I would say she's definitely grown. She's still whiny. She still whines a lot. It's kind of obnoxious, but she's definitely, her as a character has definitely grown. Let's see. One thing that I feel like they could have done better is saved that emotional scene with like the animal running away. Or I think they were trying for an emotional scene there.
Yeah.
And 10 minutes of setup. It was like, yep, this is the character. I fed her food. I healed her wound. Oh, bye. It's so sad. It just, I don't know. I feel like that could have been better constructed.
Yeah, they definitely could have like made it longer, kind of started a better connection instead of just, oh, there he is. Oh, now he's gone.
I also found it weird that they took the blood every single day.
Yeah.
When wouldn't it be the same? Like you take it once and it'd be the same.
Yeah.
Like because even the doctor guy was like, yeah, no, Crosshair was ruled out as an option.
Yeah, they still kept taking his blood.
It's kind of weird. Yeah. All in all, though, I honestly, it was a great episode. I really liked that episode. I do feel like, it was a good episode to start with. It was cool to see Mount Tantiss. Like, you really got to see like the extent of its security in terms of like the millions of ray shields and tons of commandos like everywhere. There were probably for every normal stormtrooper. There was a commando. At least that's what it looked like.
Yeah. I definitely think it was interesting on how they kind of made Crosshair just like give up on escape. Because, like, I feel like Crosshair has such a strong spirit. And I mean, obviously, he had been weaker since they started like testing, I guess, on him and taking his blood. But it's kind of weird how they just kind of like, he just gave up, basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, I think I've said this before, but he must have been so confused. Because just imagine, like, you're just living life, and all of a sudden someone's like, oh, yeah, go kill your family. You're like, I mean, because these guys were like, they were practically family with their Jedi generals. And then someone's just like, yeah, go kill your family. And you just can't not kill your family. Like, this guy would be like, okay. And obviously he's trained to follow orders. And you can tell that from the way, you can see that from the way he talks. I don't know. I just feel like he's very, like, mentally distressed. You can obviously see that at the beginning.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously some of it has to do with his inhibitor chip. Because, like, they enhanced it and made him follow orders, but then he knew that it was wrong. And he knew that he shouldn't be doing it, but it was hard to resist.
Well, yeah, and I feel like he probably had the most intact inhibitor chip. Like, he just immediately followed orders.
Yeah, because then once they figured that out, when he kind of, like, turned against them, then they immediately enhanced it and made sure that he did follow those orders and didn't turn away even after.
Yeah, no. Sounds about right. All right, what are your thoughts about episode 2?
The Paths Unknown.
Pretty poetic.
Yeah, so I think it was obviously kind of just an episode to be there. It wasn't that important to the story. There wasn't a lot of moves in the storyline being made. I mean, they kind of just like found those boys and they were like, they obviously knew that there wasn't going to be Omega wasn't going to be at that place. They were just trying to find evidence, I guess. And yeah.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a filler episode. I agree with you. It honestly reminded me of The Mandalorian, where it's like, oh no, we need to go get a glass of milk because we need to find Ahsoka because she wants milk. And then, it was just kind of like, I don't know. I get why they're like, oh yeah, we need to find more information, stuff like that. But I just feel like Disney has been just putting in filler episodes to make the seasons longer and keep people's interest. I mean, it was cool to see those young kids and see the difference, like to see how the end of the war changed them. That's something I always wondered about was like, during Order 66, they were obviously still clone cadets. Like, they were still producing clones. And I always wondered, like, how that must have been for them. I mean, they were bred for war. They knew how their life was going to go. They knew, you go through training, you go to war. Like, even that one kid was like, always thought I'd be flying one of these spaceships. And I don't know. Honestly, that was more emotional than the animal leaving. That was stupid.
Yeah, definitely. Because, yeah, it's kind of interesting how they became loyal soldiers to just kind of like bandits. Like, they were thinking about stealing their ship and just leaving them behind. But, yeah, that was definitely very interesting on how they played that into the story and how they changed their character because obviously they were left behind and now they didn't trust anybody because their brothers basically just left them behind on that planet.
Well, it also, I don't know, it was interesting. I don't, like, they have inhibitor chips, right? Even the cadets had? Yeah, it was given to them at birth. I wonder, I don't know, like, would they turn on their Jedi General? So, like, say theoretically, like, what was that one Jedi at Camino? Is it Shaak Ti? Or, wait, what did I say? Shaak Ti?
Shaak Ti.
Shaquille O'Neal. No, what was that one
The
Jedi?
one at Camino?
Yeah, it was the other Tortuga, like, Ahsoka.
Oh, yeah, the one that was in that Domino Squad episode in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I don't know her name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I wonder, like, just say theoretically, Order 66 went off, and she was, like, right there by other clones. Although, I'm pretty sure she died before Order 66.
I think so.
And so would the clone cadets, like, shoot her?
Yeah, I wonder, because I don't know how this works, but I'm wondering if maybe as they grow, their inhibitor chip grows with them.
Oh, so, like, it's like a continuous training.
Yeah.
It's like they're being continually trained. Oh, that's interesting to think about it like that. Yeah. No, and I also feel like that they just acted different than normal clones, which obviously they're young, they're children, but they just acted like way different.
Yeah, and they always looked up to the clones as like, oh, I always want to be like them because they were trained to be like them. And they're very different from the clones in how they think.
Definitely, yeah. All right, let's go to episode 3.
The Shadow of Tantus.
Ooh, that's also poetic. I'll go first this time. First thing I noticed, Palpatine steps off the ship. What'd you notice? Guess it.
Skinny.
He's so tiny, bro. Even in the movies, I just forgot the actor for Palpatine's name. Dang it.
I don't even know who it is in the first.
I do. He's a really cool dude. But yeah, it was just kind of weird to see him being so frail.
Yeah.
And he wasn't imposing at all. He looked like some homeless dude would show up at my door or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like in the third episode of the movies when he was fighting, why can't I think?
Yoda.
Windex.
Windu.
Windu. My bad. He was kind of more, instead of just like skinny, he was more of like kind of fat and chubby.
I wouldn't say fat and chubby, but he was so much more broad shouldered. Like,
yeah.
He was not built, but he filled out his robes at least. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's a result of him expending so much power in the duel with Mace Windu and the other Jedi, and also Yoda.
Yeah, and what's the girl? Yoda?
Yaddle. That was a long time ago, though. That was like that was before episode 1.
Yeah, that was like... Okay, I don't know why I thought...
But you know what? Want to know something so dumb? What? Yaddle, that's not how Yaddle died. Like, they changed canon.
Really?
That's not how Yaddle died in, like, normal canon. Like, before that canon...
Do you remember how she died?
I don't remember, but I know she was alive during the movies.
Well, yeah,
like that was
you can
thing.
see her sitting on the chair in one of the movies.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about, though. I'll have to look it up and see if I can find that article again.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So, there's one thing that I thought was very interesting, was almost as soon, when Palpatine was leaving, when he was talking to the doctor, he mentioned that maybe there was people in their ranks that didn't believe in the stuff they were doing, which is kind of weird because they were like basically servants of the Empire.
Wait. Do you want to know something cool?
What?
So, you know the exact word he used?
What?
Some people think what you're making are abominations.
Yeah.
You want to know the exact word used for Snoke in the novelization of The Last Jedi?
What?
Abomination. Just saying.
So kind of a leak to Snoke. Easter
I don't
egg?
know. It's a bit of a stretch there. By the way, thanks to Star Wars Theory for that. I really appreciate it. He's the one who told me, or who said that on his podcast. Anyways, yeah, I do feel like that would be cool, but I just. Not everything has to include the sequels, guys. You can just tie things into, like, the original trilogy. Because you think about Clone Wars, even, there was, like, tying it into the sequels, and it was just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like Disney is still going for that, like, sequel outlook on things. I don't know.
Yeah. They keep trying to hype up the sequels when it's like, nobody liked it, so just kind of let it go.
Yeah. Well, I have, like, met people who do like it, but they're those people who are like, I like all Star Wars. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you are not a Star Wars fan then.
Uneducated.
Like, okay, think about it. Like, it's not like that in other movies, like, or with other fan groups, like Marvel fans. Have you ever met a Marvel fan who likes all the movies? Like, doesn't think any of the movies are bad?
I don't think so.
Yeah. What about DC?
Well, nobody likes DC
No one likes
movies
DC
anymore. So.
Lord of the Rings, though, like,
Oh,
that is good.
I've never
that
met
is
someone
good.
who does not like.
I've never.
all the
Yeah.
movies.
Okay. Sorry, this is a Star Wars podcast, but I'm just saying. Sorry, we got a bit off track there. Yeah, I do feel like it will be cool if, just tie it into Palpatine cloning in the original trilogy. We're talking about, what is it, like 50 years?
Yeah.
It's like 50 years, guys. It's not that deep. Yeah.
Yeah, one more point I have is when they go into the facility with the Doctor and Palpatine, I wonder if all of them are Palpatine's clones, or maybe some of them are some of the experiments of the clone Jedis.
Starkiller.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Starkiller.
It gives off those vibes.
Yeah, that would be so cool if they brought Starkiller back. I don't know. I feel like they'd ruin his character, though. No. So wait, remember that one episode where they walked into like that room and it held the bodies of the dead Jedi?
Which episode? Bad
Can't
Batch?
remember. It might have been Mandalorian. No, it wasn't Mandalorian. It was Clone Wars. It was a Clone Wars episode. They walked in this room and it was like the bodies of the dead Jedi, and they were like in like what looked like amber almost.
That might have been Mandalorian because there was that episode.
Yeah.
But that was for the Dark Troopers, right?
Yeah, I think so. But why were they? Anyway, sorry. That's way off track.
Yeah.
But I do think maybe the Empire was doing something like that. Maybe they were even capturing Jedi alive.
Yeah,
I wish they would show that instead of clones. Like, man, I love clones, but dude, that'd be sick.
Yeah,
obviously, what the Emperor's trying to do is find the key to immortality. He's trying to never die, and he's trying to transfer his essence into other bodies.
Well, yeah, in the sequels, that's what Snoke is. He's just a clone of Emperor Palpatine, and then in the last movie, it's another clone of Emperor Palpatine.
No, I thought that was the OG.
Was it?
Oh
yeah, the clone was the one that got thrown down the chute.
It's so hard to keep track. Like, Disney, if you're listening, which you're definitely not, but please stop. We get it. Cloning is like an arc in Star Wars movies, but it hurts me on the inside sometimes when everything is related to cloning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, let's see. Oh, yeah. So, like, how Bad Batch was just, like, stunning clones and stuff. Like, obviously Crosshair did it in that episode, episode, but Omega did. It's so dumb. It's like, at this point, they're not even clone troopers. And if they are, then they're trying to kill you.
Well, they're not. They're stormtroopers. Because in that
the
one
commandos
episode...
still are clones, though.
Well, yeah, the commandos. But in the old episodes, when they had the first stormtroopers in the black outfits, like, obviously you could tell they weren't clones, and they were talking about, they could get infinite people from all across the universe. And I would think that the Bad Batch could have figured that out somehow when they went on a mission with them. But I don't know.
Yeah. Well, maybe they do know, and they're just pushovers.
Yeah.
No, the vault. Okay, so the vault that Palpatine was led into, that was the coolest thing ever. You know what it reminded me of? A Sith temple. It gave off like Sith temple vibes.
Yes.
Just red highlights on everything, weird, random, unnecessary red lighting. Like that is Sith temples right
for
there.
No reason.
Yep. Like there's like 60 ray shields.
Yes.
Same with the
escape thing.
The escape chute. It's like just put one ray shield.
It's not like
at
they
one
can
end.
Just
put one ray shield at one end. Like, why do you need one on every level?
If you think about it, this is very off topic, but remember that one episode in the Clone Wars when Kenobi goes undercover? He's a bounty hunter,
yeah,
and
yeah.
the guy puts his hand through the ray shield. Maybe they were preparing for one of those guys.
That's true, because remember, it was hard for him to even put his hand through it.
Yeah.
Even with that serum.
But 80 of them, I don't think anybody's getting through there.
Yeah, that's true. But that seems like a lot of wasted money. Then again, the Empire loves spending money.
They don't need
so, yeah. All right. So, do you have any other points?
Not really.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on where this season of Bad Batch is going to go? We know it is the final season. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't like that it's going away so quick. I think they definitely could have added more to the story. But I don't know. Maybe they don't want to keep adding more to the Clone Wars and they want to move on from that. But, I mean, they are going back to Old Republic times with the new Acolyte series.
High Republic.
High Republic.
Yeah, High Republic, yeah.
My bad.
But it was weird. Did you hear they changed the time frame to 50 years before the Phantom Menace? It's like Darth Plagueis.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool.
That's weird.
Yeah. No, honestly, what I see happening is they're collecting clones. They're gradually collecting clones. What I see happening is some sort of either uprising or short little war. I don't know. It's hopeless for the clones at this point. Like, what are they gonna do besides go into hiding? Like, when we see Rex in Bad Batch or in Rebels, he's living on a planet. He's like 1,000,000 years old. Well, it looks that way because of his aging process, and he's living there with a bunch of his dudes, and it's just so pathetic. Like, what happened to make it be like that?
Yeah, I'm wondering, because, I mean, obviously after that, he probably loses hope, and right now, he's, like, collecting that batch of clones, trying to start a little army, I guess.
Yeah, he is, like, he's doing good right now. He's very determined. He knows what he wants to do. And honestly, I feel like, just a theory here, if he managed to, like, collect the clones he knew from war, or even just clones in general, managed to convince them, like, we've seen clones disobey their inhibitor chips. That one guy on Ryloth.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that guy was awesome. I want to get him as a Lego minifigure. Anyways, but, like, yeah, I think if he could gather his clone army, and he could take out the Empire. He has the numbers. They have the experience. They could take out the Empire.
One thing I think that could very well happen is the Bad Batch lets him know about this facility where there's hundreds, maybe thousands of clones, and he maybe frees them and starts, like a jailbreak, and then they all get free, or maybe they all die, and that's how he loses hope. And there's also still Commander Cody out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
From that one episode.
And we know he dies, right? He dies.
He does die, but we don't know when.
Yeah. Honestly, this is a much darker season than the other seasons. It was all like, season 1 was like, oh, this is cool. Look, a bunch of, like, rogue clones. Yay. Season 2 was, like, even better. It was like, yay, we live on an island. We're doing missions. Season 3, Omega's captured. Crosshairs, like, lost hope. They're all imprisoned. And it's like, I don't know, it just has a much darker feel to it.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing that I thought was interesting is Crosshair was losing his hand was, like, shaking every time he shot.
Yeah, maybe it's because they gave him so many drugs.
They drugged him up.
Alright, do you have any last thoughts?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. We do plan on having episode 2 come out next week. Whenever this is released, it will probably come out a week from then. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe. And yeah, we'll talk to all you guys later.